So let's go over the 2022 NFL Mock Draft Simulator second round. And what is going on, everybody? So welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. So in today's video, we're going to go through the second round of the 2022 NFL Mock Draft Simulator. Now, before we get started in today's video, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button to help me rank up on YouTube and for the algorithm to help me push up my new videos. Also, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on, so you guys will be instantly notified when I upload a new video, multiple videos, couple gaming streams, or occasional live streams. Also, get in the comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts and reactions to the picks I might select for these teams in the second round. Also, you guys can check out all my social media and the Spotlight Sports Network social media, which will be linked down below in the description. So go check those out. Go give us a follow. Also, huge shout out to the people at Spotlight Sports Network for partnering with me. So let's keep this partnership going. Plus, you can check out my podcast series, Sports Talk Podcast with Robert and Tyler, every Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll put the link to the playlist down below. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So, as you guys can see on the screen, I have the second round of the Mock Draft Simulator up on the screen for the 2022 NFL Draft. So right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have the 33rd overall pick to start the second round. So obviously, if you guys saw in the first, in my first video, or the first round, they took an edge rusher and Kayvon Thibodeaux. So I'm going to go with an offensive tackle. They got to strengthen up that O line to protect Trevor Lawrence. And the one guy I think he can stand out is Daniel Faalele from offensive tackle from Minnesota. Then we got the Detroit Lions with the 34th overall pick. So they picked an edge and Kayvon Thibodeaux, or I'm sorry, Aiden Hutchinson and a wide receiver. So the next need on their list is a cornerback. Let's see who's the best cornerback on the board. Let's take Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson University. The Jets, number 35th pick, or pick number 35, and then in the second round, they took an edge rusher. So let's see and they also took a cornerback too, and Derek Stingley Jr. So I'm going to go with, let's give them a linebacker. So let's see who's the best one on the board. Actually, let's go Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma. Giants with the number 36th pick. So they took an offensive tackle and they took an edge rusher. As you can see highlighted on the screen, that the Giants could use a quarterback probably in the later rounds. So right now, the best bet for them is probably go get a wide receiver, because Kenny Golladay has not provided that he's worth the contract that the Giants have signed him for. Let's go with Christian Watson. I thought he looked like a stud at North Dakota State. Let's go with George Pickens out of Georgia. Texans with the 37th overall pick. They took a safety and Kyle Hamilton. So my best bet for Houston is to go with an edge rusher. Let's see. So who's the best one? You know what? Let's take the hometown boy, Logan Hall, out of Houston. Jets are back with the 38th pick. So far, they have two corners and an edge rusher. Next, for me, I say go offensive tackle right now to try to help strengthen up the O-line just a tiny little bit. I don't think it's really that much of a need for the Jets, but I wouldn't be surprised if they took a a diamond in the rough kind of like player in the second, probably second to later rounds. So let's see, shall we? I feel like. Oh wait. So Ryan Van Denmark. Hmm. Let's see. We got the Jets. So who's close? I guess we can go with. Let's go with Andrew Stuber out of Michigan. Chicago Bears are on the clock. With the 39th pick. Obviously, they didn't have a first round pick, so they need a offensive tackle, a wide receiver, an O line, cornerback, a defensive lineman, tight end, linebacker, running back, edge, wide receiver, safety. Let's go. I'm going to go with give him a wide receiver, kind of help out with different weapons for Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Let's see. Let's give him James. Let's go with Jahan Dotson out of Penn State for the Chicago Bears. Pick number 40 with the Denver Broncos. There you got a quarterback, which is probably one of the many. Denver Broncos is one of the many teams that need a quarterback. So, with the other needs that they need is an edge rusher, a cornerback, offensive tackle, safety, linebacker, running back, inner O-line, tight end, inner D-line, and a wide receiver. And I wouldn't be surprised they took a wide receiver because they probably could use another one. Let's go with Cal. I feel like Mitch is going to mostly be like a late third, early third round pick. So I'm going to go with Jameson Williams for the Denver Broncos. Because they need to start building up offensive weapons over there. Seattle. This is going to be an interesting one. Seattle this past season was just absolutely horrendous. So if they just need everything with offensive tackle, edge, corner, inner O-line, inner D-line, wide receiver, safety, tight end, running back, and a linebacker. I know linebacker is probably the least of their worries. So for me, obviously at this point in the draft, let's go with an offensive tackle. Kind of really. Actually, you know what? Screw that. Let's go with the edge rusher. Let's go with Kingsley Agnebear out of South Carolina. The Washington Commanders. Probably one of the most boring names you would ever hear. Obviously, they took a safety, and they're another team that needs a quarterback. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a chance on Desmond Ridder. Quarterback's probably like the least of the worries for the Falcons, since they're still sticking with Matt Ryan for another year. Can't blame them, but I feel like that's kind of a mistake. But we'll see. We'll see going into next year. They did take an edge rusher, so I say go strengthen it because obviously we don't know Calvin Ridley is going to be gone. So let's go with the wide receiver. And let's go with David Bell out of Purdue. We got the Cleveland Browns with pick number 44. We got, obviously, they took Chris Olave as the wide receiver at the moment. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. No, I'm sorry. They took Treylon Burks. I apologize for that. Yeah, so they took Treylon Burks as their wide receiver. So, see, I wouldn't be surprised they took. I'm pretty sure they're going to take a quarterback, probably the third or the fourth, maybe like between like the third and the fourth round, which is most likely where they're going to take it, because I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to be there for much longer, because I feel like he is kind of the problem out in Cleveland. So let's go. I mean, they don't need defense, though. That's the problem. Their defense has been pretty solid, led by Myles Garrett. That's the problem. So let's go. I'm going to have to go with an O line, because their O line has been good, but I think they could use a better one. And I feel like surprisingly, Tyler Linderbaum is still on the board, so I'm going to go with Tyler Linderbaum for the Cleveland with the 44th overall pick. Pick 45 for the Baltimore Ravens. They took a defensive lineman because obviously with Rod Ryan already leaving, or actually parted ways, they're going to need their defense is going to pretty much going to suffer. So I'm going to have to go with an edge rusher for the for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to make really good use when it comes to the edge rushers out of Drake Jackson from USC. Then we got the Minnesota Vikings with a pick 46. Let's see. I already got a safety for them. They need a D-line because their defense was just horrible this past season. So the best one they got right now, let's go with Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia to help with that D-line. Colts, pick 47. And we don't know how that team went. And obviously, as you see right there on the screen, they're probably going to look for a quarterback, probably in the draft. Probably the third or the fourth round is probably my best guess. I wouldn't be surprised if they took one maybe early mid-third round at best, but we'll wait and see. But let's go with a wide receiver for the Colts because they don't need a running back because obviously with Jonathan Taylor, who's been a monster for them, I feel like John Mechie III from Alabama's. I think they're going to make good. Frank Reich's going to make good use out of John Mechie. Chargers, my buddy Jake Silva's favorite team. They already took an offensive tackle. For me, I think to help solidify that secondary is going with the corner. Let's go. Let's see. Who's the best corner on the board since... Let's see. We got Trent... UTSA. I don't even know what that stands for. Let's see. I think Darian Kendrick looked like a stud. I'm going to go with... You know what? Let's go Roger McCreary out of Auburn to the Chargers. Obviously, Malik Willis is off the board because the Saints took a quarterback. Because who knows if Jameis Winston's going to be healthy because of his torn ACL. Taysom Hill, they overpaid the living crap out of him, but they are such in cap hell right now. So my best bet, because who knows if Michael Thomas is going to come back. They got some players. They got to start cutting some players to really try to try to restructure some contracts because man, they are in cap hell. So I'm actually going to give them. Let's go with a wide receiver. So the best one out there right now, Christian Watson is pretty much the best one right now out of North Dakota State. But I feel like, let's see. I feel like Justin Ross is going to be a diamond in the rough for from some teams. So my best bet for the Saints. You know what? Let's go with Khalil Shakir out of Boise State. So we got the Miami Dolphins with the number 50 pick number 50 overall in the second round. Since they already took a wide receiver, running back. See, I don't know if they. So I'm guessing let's go running back. Let's see who's still on the board for when it comes to running backs. Okay, I feel like Dameon Pierce is going to be an interesting one. Let's see, Florida State, Sean Corbin. Let's read his stuff. 5'11", 205 pounds, 4-star recruit. Okay, so see that I don't. You know what? Let's go with Dameon Pierce from Florida, and obviously my Philadelphia Eagles with the 51st overall pick. Says I already gave them a cornerback, an offensive tackle, and a linebacker, was my pick, Nakobe Dean, because I think Nakobe Dean brings that physicality, which, let's be real, we really need that out of our linebackers. So let's go. I'm going to go with an inner D line because Javon Hargrave has been pretty solid, despite there's sometimes he was super quiet for us. Fletcher Cox, who knows how long he's going to be lasting in the league. So my best bet, if I wanted to, let's see, Jordan, let's see, 6'4", 310, West Army All-American, okay, hyper front. I think actually, you know what? Let's go with Jordan Williams out of Virginia Tech. I think he's going to be a pretty good diamond in the rough kind of player. Pittsburgh, they took a quarterback because obviously with Big Ben retiring, Dwayne Haskins is not that good of a quarterback, and they really need one. But yeah, so they could also. I think go offensively. I'm going to go with the offensive tackle with the Pittsburgh Steelers because their offense was just horrendous. Chase Claypool and Najee Harris was pretty much their main source of their offense a little bit. Let's kind of take a look who's the best offensive tackle on the board. Right now, it looks like the best one on the board is Bernhard Raimann out of Central Michigan. So let's go with Rasheed Walker has been decent for Penn State. I'm going to go say Bernhard Raimann from Central Michigan. Raider Nation. If you guys are watching this, I did. So the first round, their first round pick is Jordan Davis because they need to help strengthen up that D line. Obviously, with Josh McDaniels coming in, they got is a new GM coming in, a new assistant GM, which they never held that position before. I think they were kind of making the right moves in the right places. So I chose Jordan Davis to help start with get the D line fixed. Right. This doesn't make any sense to me. This doesn't make any sense. Right there, highlighted on the screen as a quarterback. But I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know. But let's go with cornerback because I have a feeling they're going to keep Casey Hayward, but they're going to need someone to be a complementary piece for the Las Vegas Raiders. So right now, as you can see, I feel like Trent McDuffie is going to be the guy to help complement Hayward in a certain sense. Patriots, with Josh McDaniels being gone as their offensive coordinator, another guy that's kind of been his name's been kind of thrown out has been Adam Gase. It's been kind of been thrown around to be the hopefully to be being the new OC for the Patriots, but who knows if that's true or not. But with the Patriots, I gave them a linebacker in the first round. So their best bet is to go with a corner because I don't think their secondary is. I mean, their secondary is decent, but I feel like it could be better. I'm going to go with Kaiir Elam out of Florida because I feel like they can make some good use out of him. Another team that needs a cornerback, the Arizona Cardinals. Another team that kind of fell apart after J.J. Watt. I mean, obviously J.J. Watt came back from the IR, but still not having D-Hop. My best bet, I'm actually going to give them a wide receiver because in case if D-Hop doesn't, let's say if hypothetically if he does go on again, they need another guy to be a complementary piece to D-Hop. So it would kind of not hurt the Arizona Cardinals in a certain sense to the point where the I'm going to go my choice. Let's go with Kyle Phillips out of UCLA. And obviously but before I get into the Cowboys pick, I'm going to put this aside, bias all aside. I'm going to see so the Cowboys, I gave them, let's see, who did I give the Cowboys with their pick? They took George Karlaftis out of Purdue with their first round pick. So that solidifies their edge because the only two guys that had been pretty decent for them as edge rushers was DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory. And it's just like quarterback, they're probably going to find out later in the later rounds because I feel like a lot of humble and realistic ones that I've talked or that I know, they don't think that Dak Prescott is the guy. But we'll wait and see. But for me, with all bias aside to the Cowboys, I have a feeling that Jaquan Brisker from Penn State is going to fall to Dallas. Now, with the Buffalo Bills coming up with pick 57, I gave them an inner O-line. And the reason why I gave them the O-line because they need to protect Josh Allen. Their O-line has been okay to decent, but I feel like they could use like a few more O-line pieces to help out. Defense has been pretty good, so I'm going to give them let's go with Phidarian Mathis out of Alabama going to the Buffalo Bills. with the Atlanta Falcons with the 58th overall pick. So I gave them a wide receiver. I gave them an edge rusher. Quarterback, I would not be surprised to get later in the later rounds, which I'll go over very later with the series. I have a feeling they're probably going to need a cornerback to help with that second, because their defense was absolute atrocious. From what I saw, I have a feeling that Mario Goodrich from Clemson is going to fall into the lap of the Atlanta Falcons. Green Bay. Now, Green Bay is going to be an interesting one because I gave them an inner D line because their D line has been, I say, probably like decent at best. Obviously, they do need a. I don't understand why they need a quarterback. Because I kind of feel like a Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay, and same with Davante Adams. So I have a feeling. I'm going to go with a wide receiver because I feel like they're going to probably rely on Jordan Love to be their future quarterback. But for me, when it comes to wide receivers, I'm going to go with Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they took Matt Corral as their quarterback, obviously with the Tom Brady retiring. They do need a quarterback, so I gave them Matt Corral because I feel like Matt Corral kind of fell down the draft board because of his injury. Who knows come the actual draft day, so we're going to wait and see. They could use a lot of defense from what I see as you can see on the screen. An inner D line, linebacker, and an edge rusher, and a safety to really kind of help out. So I'm going to go with the inner D line because their defense was super sluggish through the playoffs. And you could see it. I'm going to go with Zachary Carter out of Florida, kind of keep the homegrown talent. 49ers with the 61st overall pick. Obviously, with Jimmy Garoppolo maybe traded, so Trey Lance is pretty much the future of the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense has been great. I mean, they could probably strengthen that defense up, but I don't feel like defense is kind of, for me, in my eyes, be the end-all, be-all for the 49ers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went defense. But for me, best bet, trying to get some more weapons, get another wide receiver, because let's be real. I mean, obviously with the running back, they got the rookie Elijah Mitchell, that he's a stud. The problem is that I have at times with the 49ers that Deebo Samuel has been used a lot, and he's kind of been burnt out. And for those who actually watch the game, you can see it too, the way that he just wasn't himself. I'm going to go with, let's see, who's Romeo. I'm going to go with Stanley Berryhill III to the 49ers because they need to get that wide receiver. So obviously Kansas City, another team that, obviously wide receiver is probably one of their needs, but wouldn't hurt for them to take another wide receiver. But in all reality, I feel like they need to strengthen up that defense, and that could also starts with the secondary and the cornerback. But for me, So we got Matt Hankins out of Iowa. I don't feel like he's not. Josh Julie, Kobe Bryant. So right now, the best one right now is Kyler Gordon out of Washington. But with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to have to go with Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska. Kind of keep that in that Midwest kind of thing. Bengals. Obviously, the Bengals their season has been kind of been very spectacular this year. Obviously, with Joe Burrow already in the second year leading that team to the Super Bowl after coming back from a torn ACL. Zach Taylor has done a great job turning this team around. I feel like they could use another O-line. Let's go with an interior offensive lineman because they need to help protect Joe Burrow because the last time, even though they were banged up last year and caused the obviously Joe Burrow tearing his ACL pretty much cut his season prematurely short. I'm going to have to go with let's go with Zion Johnson out of Boston College. And the final pick goes to the Denver Broncos with the 64th overall pick. They already got a quarterback and a wide receiver. Next thing I could see them grabbing as an edge. I feel like they're going to grab an edge rusher. If my okay, let me do this. Actually, you know what? Wouldn't be surprised they took a running back, but I feel their defense has been decent. But I feel like they could probably find it in later rounds. But for me, I mean, because who knows if Melvin Gordon's going to be or is going to stay. But I want to be surprised. But I want to screw it. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker III out of Michigan State to kind of help out and get that running back room. So obviously, that is the second round, as you can see right here, from the 33rd pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars, taking an offensive tackle on that, going all the way down to the very last pick with the 64th pick to the Denver Broncos. I hope you guys will actually enjoy the picks that I got, because I want to hear what you guys' thoughts and reactions to the picks that I chose in that draft. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the picks that I've made